People, gente. I am not Host. I am Jose. Host is actually away. He is away in a better place than Utah right now. Well, he's on his way to a better place. Not that he's sick or anything, but he said he is going to meet his sweetheart. I guess he's been dating a chick online or something like that. It's not Farmers Only, but it's the other one. Not Tinder either. Not Bumble. I think it's Grindr. He met a chick on there, and he's gonna meet his love of his life. Or, you know what? What if he gets there? Nobody's there. What are we gonna do with hosts? But anyways, beans and rice. Hope everybody's doing good. This is the first episode I'm gonna do alone. I got my animals in here. They're relaxing, but hope everybody had a good Labor Day weekend. And what a week it's been so far, huh? I went into labor on Friday, so when I went into labor, and I started making this kind of like a bar, you know. I wanted to make a bar outside and make a little thing with stools, and I just wanted to make it look kind of cool. And I have a fire pit that I kind of don't like using because it's exposed to the elements, you know, and the weather's going to be a little chilly, but I still want to have outdoor time while I'm home, or, you know, weekends or whatever. But Friday I run a Home Depot, you know, buy a bunch of lumber and stuff like that, which, by the way, I have a car, you know, I have a sedan. I always feel really weird if does somebody else run into this problem if you don't have a truck. You have a sedan, and you're like, I bought these long ass pieces of wood, you know, long ass 2x4. I got those like 4x4s, whatever they called, 4x8s, those like big thick ones, look like posts. Got a bunch of those, a couple ones for fencing, you know, little fencing, little nice ones. But and then somehow you always end up getting parked right by a truck, you know what I mean? So it looks like I'm gonna go and get into my truck, put him in there, no big deal. Nah, it's the next car, dude. It's my car. Open the trunk, gotta put the seats down. Now, it always feels like somebody's watching you, you know? It's almost like you're doing something wrong. Like I'm not being my fullest potential of a man. So, I'm sitting there throwing all that timber in there. You know, everything's fitting there, and then I got everything just all the way up into the steering wheel, pretty much all the wood, you know? So I'm driving, got all that wood in there, and I get home, and I don't know, you know, I never took carpentry or anything like that, but played with a couple Legos and stuff here and there when I was a kid, so I start making my my bar thing, you know? It's like 42 inches, I guess that's how high it's supposed to be when you're making a bar, and you know, I sit down, so I make sure it's comfortable. I bang out most of it. The next day, which is Saturday, it's like, it's supposed to be like 1,000,000 degrees, dude. So, 1,000,000 degrees. And I finished the rest of the thing, or as far as I could, for the rest of the day. And I also set up one of those, God damn it, what are they called? Those. It's not a canopy, it's like a gazebo. That gazebo effect. I went into labor, then I go into the gazebo effect. So I set up a gazebo, and it looked legit. Okay, if you're on my social media, I mean, that thing looked like I had it in there like the Garden of Eden. You know, I had it rassled and dazzled, flaked and baked, dipped and whipped, spooned and groomed from top to bottom. Looked beautiful, and that we ended up celebrating one of my brother's birthday parties. It was his birthday, and you know, I had everything set up, so came over and I made him some food, you know, celebrated a bunch of you know, it was like Cinco de Mayo almost, because over here where I live, you know, I live a little bit more on the east side, and I'm the only Mexican on my neighborhood, but I'm also the youngest man in my neighborhood. I live around a bunch of senior citizens, you know. So now we got a bunch of people over here playing. We're playing volleyball, or, you know, playing soccer. We're playing a little bit of American Ninja a Mexican ninja warrior. You know, we got a couple shovels, a couple rakes, trying to do a couple obstacle courses around the lawn. You know, Javi, my brother's over there with a lawnmower, and you know, we're just trying to have like lawn Olympics at this point. But you know, everything's going smoothly. Nice festivity. You know, we're up. Get the fire pit going. We're playing video games outside. We're shooting some hoops. Wonderful, beautiful day, right? So, right when the day ends, it's maybe like I don't know, like 1:30 in the morning. I go outside and probably like a neighborhood down, the street down from where I live. There's a giant fire, but it's already smoky, you know, all the California stuff, but a giant fire is just like blazing, and you could see like the flames. And it was so, I've never even seen a fire that close, you know. Fucking Mexicans, we suck out in the elements, but I see this fire. It just was so surreal to me how big this fire was, and you can kind of see the, you know, those little Roman candles or whatever, those little flaming birds, those filet mignons just like flying in the air, those, you know, little fire obstacles or particles. There you go. You can see little fire particles popping off everywhere, and it's starting to catch, like, it's like a huge thing got on fire. So I'm like, oh shit, what if one of these senior citizens centers or facilities caught on fire? All these senior citizens are gonna die, and I'm just chilling here the whole time. So I call the cops, 911, and 911, I call them, and really they couldn't even, you know, it's this address of your emergency. No, do you know the address? I'm like, no, but if you look outside, there's gonna be a big ass flame. I mean, this thing was like hundreds of feet high in the air, you know, like you could see it, and the lady's asking me all these questions. Are there people there? I'm not sure. There's a bunch of senior citizen homes over there, but a bunch of trees in my neighborhood. So I'm asking her, you know, should I ask my neighbors or should I knock on try to wake them up? Because there's my front neighbors look like if this fire really sparked off, maybe you could catch their trees on fire and then kind of spread. So she's like, well, maybe if you want to, blah, blah, blah. And she keeps asking me all these dumb questions. I'm like, lady, I'm like, you have to send somebody over. I'm like, I don't know the exact address. I mean, I'm not there at the scene, but something's just like burning. Am I really the only person that has called about this fire? And she's like, well, and we're maybe like 15 minutes in the conversation now. And she's like, well, actually, it looks like we're starting to get more phone calls. So I let her get off the phone. I rang a couple doorbells, and I'm scared to go ring a couple doorbells because I told you I'm the only Mexican in my neighborhood, and then it's almost 2 in the morning. I'm gonna go knock. You want me to go knocking on random people's door, you know? So I would knock and ring the doorbell, and then just like step far away. Nobody came out, you know. Everybody would have died. But my brother went down the street, you know, just drove past it and see what was going on. And it turns out, I guess, like an RV, I'm not sure if it's been on the news or not, but an RV like caught on fire, and then like the house was catching on fire, and you know, you could hear like explosions, and you could hear like people like yelling and stuff like that once it came back. And they finally start sending help. The Holiday firefighter station is pretty close, so you know they start driving down. And damn, these idiots. Now let me tell you this: I'm not the best with phones, but you got the firefighters and the cops. They're going to my house. I literally just told the lady. Hey, lady. Hey, it's not here, but you're going to see some big-ass cloud of smoke up in the air. It's hundreds of feet high. It's like, it's not even dark outside because this fire is so strong. Nope. They go in there, you know, right past my neighborhood. Guess what? My neighborhood, dead end. try to get one of those fire trucks to do a U-turn. Impossible. So, we try to wave to the firefighter like, dude, go that way, go that way. The guy just ignores us. Drives down to the dead end. Now he has to back up the truck all the way down, and then he tries to peel out. I was like, dude, already too late. But yeah, we sit there and watch the fire or whatever's going on, and then it finally kind of seemed to like they put it out or whatever, and it was already like 2:30 in the morning. So just went to bed, and just a beautiful day. I made my bar, had my beautiful outdoor. It was like a casino going on. I had it going, I had it rolling, and then something completely horrible happens at the end. So I was like, all right, dude, whatever. Wake up the next day. We're gonna celebrate my mom's birthday. So same thing, right? Go to my mom's birthday. Everybody's having fun, relaxing, beautiful day again. I'm over the fact that I, had to watch somebody's like house burn down, because that kind of sucks, just to think about. So then I'm sitting there, birthday's going great, and my nephews, Joe and Jaden, we were out there. Me, I'm like a big kid, so I start making. We're hanging out, man. I'm starting to make We're starting to make games. So I set up this like NFL combine game where we got to make like a little pass through this like fence that we broke. Then we got to run through a ladder, run behind a tree, and I set up a little a field goal thing, and we have to kick it through this other, like the post. I made some posts. We got to kick it through the post. So we're playing that game. Oh man, we're having a blast, me and the kids. And then I'm about to kick mine. I was already losing. I was getting embarrassed. But I go to kick my field goal. That's the last part of the obstacle course. And then our dog, we got this little chihuahua at my mom's house, bites Joe, just out of nowhere. He was like sitting down, and right when I made the field goal, I thought he was running towards me like to congratulate me or something, you know what I mean? But it's the dog was like biting him, so he was running away from the dog. And I was like, oh, god damn it, you know what I mean? So, now luckily, I mean, he got bit, but it wasn't like where, like, wounded him or anything like that. But it was just like, damn, it's like 2 days in a row now that, we're like celebrating birthdays, and then, it ends like kind of on a sour note or whatever, so that kind of killed the vibe, because I felt bad, I'm playing with them, and then I almost felt like it was my fault, but it literally, she bit them while they were sitting down, like all the way across the yard, so they were literally just sitting down on the deck, and she started trying to bite them from there. So I already kind of feel like a freaking pile of crap, because we're playing, and we're always playing all these stupid games, with me. So it's like, damn. So now I got, Joe got bitten because of me. So I kind of feel like, a little bit down. So whatever, the sing happy birthday. We have a little bit of cake. We go home. So bring us to that was Sunday. So then or Labor Day, one of those days. So bring us to today, Tuesday, which is when the episode's dropping. That's why I had to go slow. We got to keep it consistent. So Tuesday, we're all back from Labor Day, right? And what happened today, guys? Come on. Dude, are you serious? All of a sudden we get Katrina, that Hurricane Katrina after effect, blowing through everywhere. Now, look, I told you I just put up my gazebo, right? I put up my bar out in the back. Now, I did a good job. I tightened that bad boy down. I hooked it up through like a couple poles. I over secured this bad boy. And my neighborhood, a bunch of trees and stuff like that. So I seen it get a little bit windy, but it was super cold. And my gazebo, I look outside, not even moving. I'm solid. I'm just like, damn, Jose, you did a good job. Literally starting to wake up for work. I look back out and, one of the legs, it was holding on so strong, it actually, bent one of the legs completely off. And then, one of the half of the gazebo kind of, folded almost into a sandwich. I had a little gazebo sandwich. And it was literally connected to a big pole that was on the ground. And that pole ends up on top of my garden. So now my gazebo's destroyed. I walk out, bam, Jose's garden, destroyed. And then the wind destroyed all my other plants, my plants that I'm gonna get, like a squash and some other tomato plants, and then Cantaloupe Island, R.I.P. It got too cold. So I walk out, my gazebo's destroyed. There's chairs everywhere, and as soon as I walk out, a giant branch starts falling, and when you see this shit happen, you know what I mean? It's almost like in slow motion. I can see the branch start heading my direction, and you can hear it, crackle. It's and it starts heading my way, and I'm like, oh shit, because there's power lines right behind my house, so I'm like, this thing's gonna knock down all the power lines, R.I.P. So I sprint right to my side door, and the tree falls, but it ends up falling on the power lines, and it tips the power lines and the pole over, but not enough to knock down the pole completely. But now there's power lines on my neighbor's fence, so now there's a tree literally in his backyard. And I guess there was so much damage and stuff like that. They literally told him he has to wait and to only call him if the lines start to smoke up, if it starts to burn, and so he can't even go in his backyard. So I've been paranoid all of today. That if that's gonna get super windy again, and then I'm gonna be sleeping, boom, the power line is, I don't know, I might probably just sleep in my living room. It falls over right in my backyard. All of a sudden, they have a tree. So that was my Labor Day weekend. It was really good, and then really shitty, and then really good, and really shitty. But I don't know. I didn't really get too mad because. Just fuck, I guess a tree could have fallen right on my house or something like that, so I saw the tree fall, and, it's well, could have been a lot worse. Yeah, I literally just made my bar thing outside, but, nothing bad happened other than something that I paid for getting ruined, so that was still, that kind of mellowed me down a little bit, kind of put it in perspective to just highs and lows, how you could be having the best time of your life. Meanwhile, somebody's house is burning down right down the street from you, and all of their possessions, they're just burned, and yeah, they might get insurance money and get a car or something like that, and that's covered or whatever. But, there's so much stuff that's that doesn't have value, sentimental value. Like I said, there's more sentimental value than anything else that, I just really couldn't complain today when all of this was going wrong. Just man, somebody's house, you just saw somebody's, probably a couple houses, just catch fire the other day when you were having a blast. You know what I mean? So it's not really that bad, dude. So I don't know. Did any of your guys' stuff get damaged or anything like that in trees, or did you guys see anything cool? By the way, also let me know, if stuff like that's going on in the comments. I guess I never put it on there, but comment. Let me know what's going on. What happened in your windy day? Did you survive the gust? I saw Benjamin Franklin. He was over there on the street trying to get electrocuted out there with a kite. Benjamin Franklin. I got Horton Hears a Who. He was out here in the backyard trying to hear, who this wind was coming from. Everybody was out. I got Helen Keller over here on the pole trying to hold it so it wouldn't fall. So if something happened to you, let me know in the comments. Also, I did want to bring up, if, and some of you have, which I really appreciated, is to just, I guess if you could share the podcast, it's pretty cool. Or just send your favorite episode over to one of your friends or something like that. That would be pretty cool. And also in the comments, if you want to hear something, just comment about it. And shout out to this, beautiful girl, Taylor Traveler. She said she wanted to, maybe one day we could talk about astrology on the podcast, which, look, astrology, I think we'll get into it. Maybe I should get like an astrologer. I'm gonna try to find an astrologer for you, okay? And I'll bring him or her on the podcast and ask weird stuff. But just if you guys could appreciate it, and also shout out to Corolla Coop Daddy. I appreciate the people that have been listening to the podcast and stuff. It's been really nice, and hopefully I know I can continue to do better, and Host comes back with this love of his life. Hopefully he didn't get catfished. But, Host, he might be okay with the person that he gets catfished. He needs glasses. He doesn't have the best vision. So this lady could probably just, she's going to go pick him up at the airport. And she's going to have a picture of the Mona Lisa. Put it in front of her face. And she's like, hey, honey, it's me. He doesn't even know. She's holding the picture of the Mona Lisa in front of her face, and she's holding it with one hand. The rest of his life, here he thinks he's dating this beautiful girl. It's just a lady holding the picture of the Mona Lisa, dude. So, hopefully he took his glasses with him, because if not, they're gonna catch him with that bait and switch. That's gonna be a little bad for him, but. Hopefully when he gets back, we get rolling. We've had a couple of other ideas to start adding to the podcast. The email for the podcast is beanzzandrice@gmail.com. So that's beans, triple C, like zebra, just like the name of the podcast, beanzzandrice@gmail.com. If you guys want to shoot us like any questions or anything like that, that would be we can start adding them to the podcast. That would be pretty cool, So just let me know if there was any of you guys had any damages to your house, or if you guys were scared to go to bed. You know what I mean? At work, I started working after all of this, show or whatever happened. It felt like I worked 1 hour. And I look down, and it's 5 o'clock, So today was just, today was just crazy, It's like when you have those days when something bad happens where the day doesn't even feel real, That's how today was feeling, and it just made me remember. Do you guys remember do girls even do this? So, if you're a girl and you're listening to this, let me know. Do girls, when you're like a teenager, do girls drool? Do you remember that? When you're like in junior high and you're growing, your bones are stretching or doing that bone yoga, and all of a sudden you fall asleep for like 4 hours, and that's just your nap, you know what I mean? Now 4 hours, some people, that's all the sleep they get. But you fall asleep, and you wake up, you're like, what's going on? Why is my face wet? And there's a puddle under you. Remember that nap? How good those naps were? And you just got a bunch of drool. It looks like a crime scene. It looks like, somebody, got shot. But, just drool coming out of their mouth. You got shot by God's sleeping pills. He dosed you, and you're sitting there like a little angel, but you wake up all ugly. Half of the size of your half your head. It's all red. Your face. Or maybe you got a handprint, and then you looking like an idiot when you wake up. But your hair's all messy. You got it's all indented. Man, you might have slept on your zipper or something like that. Remember when that happens? You fall asleep on a piece of fabric, or a pair of scissors. You fell asleep. Now you look like you got a Edward Scissorhands tattoo right on your cheeks. So, do girls drool? Is that even a thing for girls when you're in puberty? Are girls drooling, or are you guys just sleeping beauties? I know there's girls out there that snore. You know what I mean? But drooling, I don't know. I'm not sure if I've ever seen a girl drool. So yeah, I just really today just wanted to take a nap. I just wanted to be babied. You know what I mean? Sometimes, when I think about being a kid again, I just want to more so of not having a responsibility. Does that make sense? So it's like yeah. Everything's cool. I'm just gonna fall asleep. I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna play video games. Not having too much worries. Because once you grow up, it's like, we don't have the same worries that we had as kids. They're no longer like valid when you're an adult. You know what I mean? So you're like, dude, how was I stressing about a pimple when I was a kid? Now I look forward to a pimple. Come on, if you don't have acne anymore, do you guys not get stoked when you get a pimple? It's like, man, sometimes I don't even want to pop it. I want to just let it. I want to get that freaking Pompeii. I want to get that Mount Vesuvius just sitting there ready to just erupt. Just give it that little squeeze. You don't even have to squeeze it, and you know how good it feels. Like, I feel like now I took pimples for granted. You know what I mean? It's like, man, they always talk about the ugly duckling and stuff like that, man. You had like free entertainment when you were a kid. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna go home and pop some pimples. Now I can't even pop a pimple, Now you gotta go bowling. You gotta do something. You gotta pay for something. You don't even get to pop, your own stuff. Now you gotta pay somebody to pop your pimple. Jeez. But today I just wanted to be a kid. I just wanted to not have any sort of responsibilities ever. Well, not ever. For today, I just wanted to just like lay down, fall asleep, and then just chill. Wake up, maybe have some cereal, watch some cartoons or something like that. Relax, not even think about anything. So instead, what I got to do, I got to go pick up the pieces of the gazebo. I gotta go cut off my melons. Now I gotta wait for them to hopefully ripen up a little bit more inside. So now I got a bunch of melons right here, a couple of tomatoes. And then all of a sudden it's already... Look, I love fall, but come on, fall. This 2020, man, you gotta slow down a little bit, baby. You're coming in here like one of those fugitives. All of a sudden you just come in, you're waving your gun everywhere. Bad things are happening everywhere with 2020. But it's like all of it's expected at this point. You know what I mean? It's like, hello, summer. Bam. Everything's going to burn. Fall. Snow. You got hurricane winds. So it's just like, man, come on, 2020. Just relax a little bit. But hopefully it warms up a little bit more. Because I do love fall. I want it to be a little bit cooler. I want to wear hoodies, sweaters, sweats. You know what I mean? Man, I just want to be lounging. But you got me out here. I wasn't even ready. I don't got my fall attire ready to go out here and, recuperate whatever, things that I can grab from outside. So they're cold. I got a tank top. I can't even find any of my clothes. But, Yeah, RIP to my bar, my casino that lasted a day. Um, same with, well, hopefully that person whose house burned down. Hopefully their houses. Well, maybe hopefully I'm not sure if it burned down the whole way. Hopefully it didn't, or hopefully they have a place to stay, or that they didn't lose maybe something that was really important to them. So they could save hopefully something that was pretty important to them, because that's how my weekend was. It was just like hot and cold. It was just extremes. There was no slowing down this week. So it was just kind of, it was a little bit humbling. You know what I mean? And it all really just depends how you want to take those situations. If you're gonna let them stress you, or you're gonna get anxious, or you're gonna get mad. I mean, at the end of the day, with some things that are happening right now, there's nothing you can do about those things. You just have to be okay taking the L. You took a loss. I mean, is it really a loss? You know what I mean? I mean, you can be like L for lesson. You can just take that lesson. Maybe I should have put the casino away. Maybe I should have, I'm not sure, maybe even tighten it up even more. Or maybe I should have made a whole gazebo on my own. You know what I mean? Because now I don't have one. So a lot of maybes, but just somebody's house is burning down whenever you think you may be having a bad day. So just think about that. If your day's going crappy or your month's going crappy, just think about that. Somebody always has I guess somebody always, somebody probably already said this, but somebody is wishing for your worst, because a lot of the times we start taking really big strides when we're like growing as people, or accomplishing goals, or whatever journey you're in, that you people don't really ever step back and then just soak in what they've done, right? So sometimes you get caught up on, oh well, why didn't this happen to me now, or I think I deserved it, why didn't I get it, why am I having a tough time, why this, why I know I should, I'm deserving. I know I should be getting this. I know I should be in a better position. But if you were seeing yourself from maybe a year ago, or 2 years ago, or a month ago, that old you would be like, hey, damn, you're doing a good job. So I think that's one good takeaway from all of this, and that I think a lot of people could do is just soak in what you've done, because this year has been super crazy. A lot of weird stuff has happened. Like not being normal is normal now. And we don't know if it's ever going to be back to normal, or whatever, but there's already a lot of stressful things that are going on outside of your control, for you to be stressing yourself with things that you can control. So there's a lot of things that we put I guess a lot of stress on ourselves on, that we couldn't do. I mean, fuck, yeah, I didn't know if there was going to be a hurricane or a tree falling down, in my yard. So why do I even need to get mad? You know what I mean? I just wanted to take a nap. I wanted to clean it up and be like, hey, you know what? I just want to take a fucking nap. So hopefully you guys are finding the time to go ahead and do that. Especially when it comes to your goals, because don't ever feel like you're plateauing, because you might just be going at a different speed. There might be I mean, you might be going through a couple mountains, a couple hills. You know what I mean? So you don't know when you're on that last hill, waiting to just go down and be done with your whatever goal or obstacle it is that you're having in your life. So help each other out. That's that's another thing too. Around this time, I think host on one of the previous podcasts, he had mentioned that there's probably people that are going to be getting a little sad or whatever with now that there's going to be no summer. I mean, for me, I'm not much of an outdoorsman, but I mean, we're in Utah and there is a lot of people that love to be outdoors, and maybe they're not going to be going out as much, obviously, because of the once winter comes and all of these changes, can't go swimming and stuff like that. So just make sure you're checking on people. I always try to say that every podcast, but yeah, just be nice to yourself. A lot of my friends I always try to help you guys with your goals. Only if I know you guys want them. You know what I mean? So I'm always willing to go the extra mile for people as long as you want the help. So when you can come to an understanding that you need assistance with a goal, and it might not even be that you need help per se, like with yourself as a person, but maybe that you need extra motivation, that you need like that extra push. With my friends, I always try to hold them accountable. Like, hey, if you're gonna ask me to do this, I'm gonna be nice about it, but I'm also gonna hold you accountable to it. And I think we should do that with each other. With your friends. Like, if your friends can't take that criticism or that accountability, I guess that's a better word, from you, when you're letting them know, hey, come on, tighten up. That's not really a friendship. So you also shouldn't be feeling bad about that, or losing or gaining friends, or whatever the case may be. You just got to do your best, man. So I mean, I think that's pretty much all I have. Not sure if that made any sense at all, so hopefully that made some sense. Just to be thankful, I guess that we're alive and that we have something. I've always had a hard time complaining because I know people that have less. One quick story, actually. When I was a kid, I must have been like in third grade. I used to be kind of an asshole. I used to, always. I mean, I was kind of like a rough kid, so I would get into fights and stuff like that. But I remember in third grade, for me, my dad, my real dad. When I talk about my birthdays and stuff we were having, it's like my family now, But I still have like biological parents and stuff, but. Like my biological family was never really there for me. I mean, I haven't seen them for about 10 years. But, my mom wasn't really there. My dad wasn't really there. And, to think about it in retrospect, sure, maybe that's why that was my excuse to be a bad kid or whatever. But I remember in third grade, there was this kid. His name was like Fikrid or something like that. Fikrid. He was Bosnian. And, this kid, it was when rap and hip-hop, it's all popping off. And, he'd sag his pants. And he figured out how to do that whistle. When you put, like, 2 fingers in your mouth and you do that loud whistle. I can't do that. But, he'd always walk like kind of like a crab. He'd walk like a little king crab, with that big old, like that gangsta lean, but it's, like, extra gangsta. And, he would always come and just whistle behind people's ears super loud, So I just remember it's like, man, I'm just gonna kick this kid's ass. He never whistled behind me. Um, he never really had any issues with me at all. I just found him annoying for doing all these things. And he actually lived in my apartments when I was a kid. So one day he's just like walking by the apartments, and he happens to be walking by my apartment. So I'm like, oh, here's this kid. You know what I mean? So I just like grabbed him. Like when they pull like a typical bully scene where they grab him by like the kind of like by your neck. You know what I mean? Just like your shirt, like right there by your shirt. And I kind of like picked him up. I kind of picked him up by his shirt like that, against the wall, and I was like cussing him out. It's like, hey, I don't want to hear you whistling or try to act hard or whatever. I'm gonna beat you up or whatever. And, next time you do that, or I'm gonna kick your ass or whatever. And so I was being an asshole to him. And then it's like a couple days later, I found out. I think I was talking. I don't know. I must have been complaining. I must have been talking about him to someone that I was gonna beat him up or someone and figured his turns out I think it's like both of his parents, over in the war in Bosnia, they were both like murdered, so he lost both of his parents, and he lived with his grandma here in the U.S. So that kind of, that was like the first time, and I was only in third grade, but it's like the first time that, man, I felt like I was like a complete piece of shit. That here I was being a bully because technically I'm angry or whatever that my parents are there, but I still had them there. You know what I mean? I mean, they still lived where I live. And here I am picking on a kid that is a refugee from all the way in Europe. And, he's living with his grandma. And I'm pretty sure he does, he didn't have parents, but he's like living with his grandma. He doesn't know anything about American culture. Grandma probably doesn't know any sort of English at all, and here I was bullying this kid. You know what I mean? So just kind of to go back to where like somebody always has it worse. That to me was like when I was just like, damn, dude. It's like I was always good at being funny or making jokes or whatever, but I can also use that to to bring somebody down. And that's what I was doing. So that's like the first time where I felt like super regretful. And after that, I didn't really bully kids. I would still hang out with kids that were like rough kids. You know what I mean? We'd like beat up on each other. But it was just the rough kids. We would just do it to each other. Later on, I wouldn't even like when people get bullied just because of that instance, So my worst, just my parents not being around as much as maybe they should have been, was his best. You know what I mean? So, he probably wished that he could be in my position where somebody's, maybe at least he kind of sees his dad, or his dad's been, my dad was here in the U.S. since he was like 18 or something, so it's not like it was something different to him. So, yeah, his best was my life, essentially. And here I was complaining about my parents and just my traumas or whatever mishaps I was having. And I have this kid that literally doesn't have anything, And I always think about him a lot because that's who helped me become, I guess, maybe a nicer person. And I never even told him any of this or anything like that. It was just like that moment just like checked me, checked myself. Made me check myself. So God, not to get all gloomy, you know what I mean? But shout out to him. Hopefully he's doing good. I know he had a little brother, but yeah, that's just my whole point. You know what I mean? It's we can get so caught up in negative things that we lose sight of how good we have it or how many things we should be grateful for. So if you're having a shitty month too, or last month was shitty, or you're seeing somebody else, I don't know, maybe they had a change that was a good change. Don't hate on it. You know what I mean? Don't get jealous. You don't know how long they've been waiting for that change to happen. You know what I mean? So don't let that make you lose focus of your own goals, because you don't know how long that other person's been working on their goals. So just keep focusing on yourself. So that's I guess that's today's helpful advice only, huh? So I guess it's gonna be helpful advice. Share. I gotta start saying this. My brother's been telling me. So you gotta share. Remember, share. Hit the likes. I've gotten 3 likes. That's cool. But comment. Appreciate it if you do. And everybody, welcome to fall. This is, I think, a month after our first episode, which is Summertime Sadness. So this is that fall. This is that fall baby that I'm dropping for you guys. A couple bars. Jose going solo. I love you guys. Stay safe. Hit me on the email address. I'll start putting it on the video description. It's beanzzandrice@gmail.com. beanzzandrice@gmail.com. You guys stay solid. Have a good rest of your week. Love you guys. Catch you later. Peace.